This is the all-new iPhone 16e. It's the newest and cheapest iPhone you can buy in 2025. It's got an all-new design, tons of upgrades and features, and might just be a way better buy than the iPhone 16 or even the 16 Pro. Apple just surprised us and released this all-new iPhone, so let me save you a bunch of time and tell you the top 6 things you need to know about this all-new budget-focused iPhone. Okay, so point number 0 here to sort of kick things off, just a little bit of housekeeping. Where is the spring event? For the last couple of weeks, we had heard that Apple was preparing to launch this all-new iPhone at some sort of spring event, and obviously that did not happen, which means one of two things. Either a spring event is still happening, and it's going to be so jam-packed with major announcements like the new Apple Home Hub thing that Apple just wanted to get this one out of the way early so they had more time to show off new stuff. Or what might be more likely in this case is that Apple realized that the announcements they had queued up weren't maybe worthy of an event. New M4 MacBook Air, new iPhone, maybe some small updates to the iPad. Maybe they're just better off doing, sort of press release, website updates, which is sort of what they did in this case. If I hear more about any sort of spring event, I'll keep you updated, but just wanted to sort of clear that up before we jump into things. So with that out of the way, let's jump into number 1 and talk about this all new design. Now, I know this design is very familiar. We've seen it before for a while now, but I will say for this iPhone lineup, it's the biggest generation to generation bump we've seen in quite some time. It's almost like going from the iPhone 7 to the iPhone 10. Now, yes, this design again is nothing revolutionary, and yeah, it's been a couple of years, but to go from an iPhone 8 style design with those bezels and the home button and the smaller form factor to this, which is sort of more reminiscent to the iPhone 14, it's a pretty big deal. And if you had the previous generation iPhone SE, or maybe even an older iPhone 8 or iPhone 7 or something like that, this is going to be a really big upgrade in lots of new ways. For example, the home button is officially gone. Am I safe to say that now the home button is officially dead? I think this was the last Apple product with it. So RIP to the home button. Touch ID is out on the phones. Face ID is in. And this now has Face ID and also a notch up top with way slimmer bezels around the display. Again, in terms of design, it's very familiar, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And I think the only other point I do want to clarify here is that it is going to be a little bit larger than the previous generation iPhone SE. So if you were someone who really liked the smaller phone form factor, Apple is just moving away from that for better or worse. So just keep in mind that it's going to be similar in size, but it is going to be a little bit larger, just so you know. Speaking of screen, update number 2 is the display, because you've got, again, a huge generation over generation upgrade here. Not only are you getting a bigger display, now this is a 6.1-inch display, but also it's OLED now. So goodbye LCD. That was another thing on the older iPhone SE Generation 3. It's gone now, so now you've got all of the beautiful advantages of an OLED display. You've got inky blacks, you've got beautiful vibrant colors. Again, you've got slimmer bezels, so you can really enjoy the content on that phone way more. There's just a lot to like about this new display. Now, of course, in typical Apple fashion, this wouldn't be a 90 hertz display or 120 hertz ProMotion. That's simply not here. You're at 60 hertz, but I mean, we can make the comparison between budget Android phones all day, but again, this is Apple we're talking about. Not surprising here, but hey, at least it's an OLED display, and that is super nice to see. And again, you've got the notch up on top with Face ID, no dynamic island here. Upgrade number 3 is the camera. Again, lots of major upgrades are happening here, and this one is certainly no exception. Now, it is still a single camera setup, so you're not going to have the versatility of a telephoto lens or an ultra-wide lens, but you are getting a really good single camera here. 48 megapixels is going to be great for recording 4K video, taking photos. It's a really great camera, no doubt about it. You've got a 12 megapixel selfie camera on the front as well. Again, if you wanted to really, go pro with your photography, you might want to pick up a 16 Pro, for example, or things like that. But if you're looking to save money but still take really good photos and videos of just about anything, you can't go wrong with the setup, especially we're quadrupling the megapixels of the main camera, so very nice to see on this new iPhone. Number 4 is one that seems sort of like it shouldn't be a big point, but I've just got to say it because it's Apple we're talking about. USB-C. Yes, again, previous generation iPhone had Lightning. Lightning is out. USB-C is in. One cable to rule them all. Nice to finally see that here. Upgrade number 5 is some of the other more internal phone upgrades here that will be noticeable. One of the big points here is that this is actually running the exact same processor as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm missing some tech specs, correct me down below, but on the surface, it's the A18 processor, which is also in the iPhone 16. So same chip as the iPhone 16, which means a couple of things. Number 1, you're gonna get updates for years and years. Now you're gonna have a pretty good update cycle here. It's a very fast, powerful, efficient chip, so you can do all your video editing on here in CapCut. You can do all of your photo editing. You can play games. You're going to have no problem with that. And this should be a more efficient chip. So not only are you getting a slightly larger physical battery inside, but that battery should be hopefully longer lasting thanks to the more efficient Apple Silicon in there. So that's super cool to see on the chip side. This is also the very first Apple product with its own custom cell modem inside, which is a kind of a big deal for a couple of reasons. One is that, Apple has more end-to-end control here with the entire iPhone package here, but also there is speculation that this is sort of testing the waters, and if it's successful here, Apple could do their own custom cell modem in future iPhone models, Macs would be great to see, iPads, etc., etc. So that's super cool to see here. And also, this is supporting Apple Intelligence. Obviously, that's the big thing for 2025. Apple's putting it in just about everything. Now, we're still waiting for a lot of those major Apple Intelligence features, but for all the features that are out right now, you'll be able to enjoy them here on this iPhone that won't break the bank, which I guess perfectly segues me into point number 6, the other thing here you need to know, which is price. So the 16E is available in 2 different colors, gonna have a starting base storage of 128 gigabytes, so you can go up from there, and a starting price of $599, which is definitely higher than the rumors expected, but still the cheapest new iPhone you can buy in 2025. So just to recap, you're getting a way more modern iPhone 14 style design, OLED display, goodbye home button, hello, Face ID, you've got, presumably great speakers, you've got good battery life, good Apple Silicon in there, all of that for a pretty good price. Again, there is an argument to be made about, this budget Android phone can do this or it has XYZ feature, but in the Apple ecosystem, this is a pretty good generation over generation iPhone upgrade. And I think for many people out there, if you just want a solid iPhone experience, you don't want to break the bank and you don't need a lot of those extra special features you probably won't use anyways, this might be a very good way to go. In fact, the more I look at this iPhone and I compare it to the iPhone 16, I kind of wonder why many people would spend hundreds of dollars more to get only a couple of extra little features that I don't think most people actually would care about. Now again, this announcement just happened. I just did a quick glance of the tech specs, so please have some mercy on me if I get something wrong, or please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But as far as I can tell, main differences would be obviously you're getting 2 cameras on the iPhone 16, you're getting camera control, you're getting the dynamic island, which, okay, those maybe are worth a couple $100, but I think for a lot of people, maybe not. Maybe you're better off just saving the money and going with this phone instead. So I'm curious, guys, what are your thoughts on this surprise iPhone announcement? Are you liking the feature set for the price? Do you think there's good value here? Is there something else Apple could have done? Did Apple do the right thing? Did they do the wrong thing? Do you think we'll see a spring event? Please drop a comment down below, let me know. As always, appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see ya in the next one.